Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back inside the War Room alongside Chris Schroyer. I'm Shrikar Rajendran. I am severely jet lagged. If you saw our last video, it was the UFC Qatar recap. I was overseas in the Middle East for the past week, so I just got back yesterday. Sorry, that's kind of why we had a lack of content going. We wanted to do more, but couldn't really get on the same schedule. But now that I'm back, I think things are going to be a lot better now. And we have UFC 323 staring us down. The last pay-per-view of the year, maybe the last pay-per-view ever with this Paramount deal. We've got a stacked card, full fight-by-fight predictions. Of course, the betting breakdown. Chris, what do you think of this card, man? Obviously, the stakes involved with it being the last event on pay-per-view. Do you think, I won't say is it worth paying up for it, but how do you feel about the card as a whole?
I think it's a good way to end the year, to be completely honest, in terms of the pay-per-view method, or I guess we're going to have to start calling them premium events because they're not going to be pay-per-views anymore.
Numbered cards.
Numbered cards. Yeah.
Numbered events.
But yeah, no, I think it's a good way to end off the year. I think we have two very exciting title fights on our hands and a pretty solid main card as well, with a lot of implications in different divisions. And I think they did a good job of, stacking the early prelims as well as the prelims. So I really don't have any complaints. And I think it should live up to the hype. And you have an anticipated rematch in Merab versus Petr Yan. And we saw how the first one went. Can Petr Yan do better in this rematch? We'll get into that a little later. But yeah, and then you have an up-and-comer in Josh Van, who is just taking the UFC by storm, facing an absolute animal and possibly the best flyweight of all time in Alexandre Pantoja. So there's going to be a lot to prove on this card, not just for those four fighters, but for a lot of other fighters as well. So yeah, I mean, I have no complaints. I don't know about you, Shrikar. How do you feel about this?
I think there's definitely some fights that I'm excited for. There's a couple that I'm like,
yeah,
probably just
fillers.
Just fillers. But as a card, I think this is a good pay-per-view. I think this is a good one in terms of, okay, we're leaving things off here and we're moving into a new era. I think this is a good one to kind of move and usher into that new era. But do us a favor real quick. Smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new. Turn those post notifications on. Share the video with a friend. Helps a ton. Follow the socials down below. All right. Let's jump into the first fight of the night. We are kicking the last pay-per-view off with the early prelims, Muhammad Naimov versus Myron Santos. And I'm siding with Myron Santos here. I really like Santos' style. He's that sharp Brazilian Muay Thai style striker with great timing and a good read on his opponents. Naimov has those stance switches, some nice hooks in transition, a Taekwondo background with spinning attacks you have to respect. But a lot of what he throws is a bit wider, a bit loopier. Those kinds of techniques tend to get exposed by someone with Santos' striking IQ. Santos is the sharper striker. I can see him working on, that jab, using it from range, using that small reach edge, stabbing the body with teeps, just being smoother and quicker on the feet. Footwork advantage, timing advantage, speed advantage, all on the Santos side for me. I also think Naimov is going to wrestle when things aren't going his way on the feet. His wrestling is decent, solid body locks, some okay singles and doubles, pushes guys to the cage, but he doesn't blow me away as some dominant wrestler. I actually think he's going to get hurt trying to enter on takedowns, knees up the middle, elbows in the clinch from Santos, that kind of stuff. Defensively, I trust Santos to stuff enough takedowns, punish the entries, just keep tuning Naimov up as the fight goes. Now, can Santos knock him out? That's the big question. Naimov comes in fantastic shape and has never been knocked out as a pro, only a submission loss to Felipe Lima. And that was late in the fight too, but he has been touched up on the feet and he's dealing with one of the sharper strikers in the division here. I think we're going to see 3 solid rounds from Santos. Naimov will have some moments, probably lands a spinning body kick or two, but over the long run, Santos' timing, jab, counters should win out. Wouldn't shock me if he times a spin or a level change and turns it into his own takedown too. From a betting standpoint, Santos is sitting around. I just had it pulled up. Santos is
like minus 270.
Yeah, minus 260 with Naimov at plus 210. Feels about right, especially knowing Santos opened closer to minus 150 and already steamed. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing creeps closer to the minus 300 range by fight night. So if you like the Santos side, straight or in parlays, I'd get it now at this number. Earlier is probably better than later. As for props, I lean Santos by decision as the default. They don't have the props up yet on DraftKings, but a knockout would not shock me at all. He's got great timing down the middle, and Naimov's wide shots and stance switches can be read and punished. If the knockout prop is juicy enough when it drops, that's worth a look too. But I'm going to go Myron Santos to win, probably by decision. But again, knockout is very live here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm going Myron Santos by decision. I think this is going to be maybe not the most exciting first fight of the night. I think it's set up to be, I would say, a technical match, almost like a little bit of a chess match between, a high level, not high level, I would say a solid grappler in Naimov and a high level striker in Myron Santos. And I have a bone to pick with Myron Santos. He did not do anything to me. I thought that Francis Marshall beat him and he should have a 2 on his record. But that is not his fault. He fought his fight and probably did enough on those judges' scorecards to get the win. But he's a very good fighter. I mean, he won the Ultimate Fighter for a reason. Like, this guy is a solid striker. I mean, he is very calculated. And like Shrikar said, I mean, he's just so versatile in terms of he can counter you, especially when Naimov enters. And sometimes he enters the pocket a little bit recklessly. And you can't do that on Myron Santos. He's going to make you pay pretty much 10 times out of 10. And yes, Naimov, does have power. He is a good fighter. And I'm not taking anything away from him in that aspect. But yeah, he isn't as tight as Myron Santos when he's boxing. It's more of looping things like Shrikar mentioned. And sometimes when you fight a guy who just kind of throws straight down the pipe, that's going to get you in trouble because you leave yourself very exposed when you go for looping attacks. And with Santos can, get into kicking range, maybe even just stay at kicking range, he's going to eat up those legs. And I think, for someone who is going to want to grapple Santos, if your legs start getting eaten up, you're going to lose all your base and power from the ground to try and get Santos into a position that is ideal for you. So yeah, I think Santos is the best bet here. And I think him by decision is, I'm not going to say a lock, but I would say it's pretty damn close to it. I don't see him knocking him out. But I see this being a similar fight as the Felipe Lima fight for Muhammad Naimov. I think he's going to struggle a little bit with this realm of striking. But I'm not writing him off after this. If he wins, that's great for his resume. I just think this is a very stylistic, tough matchup for him. So Santos by decision is the pick.
Next up, we've got Mansur Abdul-Malik.
Death.
Versus Antonio Troccoli. And as Chris was saying, honestly, this feels like a straight up squash match. Yeah. But I'll let you get your breakdown out first, Chris.
I don't think
how does Mansur get this done?
I don't think there's much of a breakdown of this. I think he's gonna go in there and knock out Troccoli, and it's gonna be pretty brutal. Mansur is still definitely super raw, and he has a lot of, I would say, a lot of growing to do still. But he has a great base in wrestling. He's a University of Maryland wrestling alum. Shout out Sam. I know he always loves to hear that. But yeah, he is, in my opinion, the best base for MMA wrestling. The dude, look at the dude. He is just an absolute mammoth of a man. And so is Troccoli. Troccoli's actually 3 inches taller than him, and there's only a half-inch reach advantage. But I think Mansur is just he's going to be a problem for Troccoli. He's going to be a lot more physical than him. He's going to tag him up. And he has a no contest on his record. Mansur Abdul-Malik does, but that was because he was beating Cody Brundage so bad and accidentally threw an illegal knee that overturned the fight into a no contest after the fight. So yeah, I think that this is just going to be a Timberland boot to a bug on the floor, in my opinion. No disrespect to Troccoli, but I think the odds are very correct in this one. And Mansur is about a minus 1100. So yeah, that's how I feel.
Troccoli is 0-2 in the UFC, 35 years old. He just doesn't look like a UFC level fighter. He got subbed by Ultimate Fighter legend Trayshawn Gore not long ago, and that loss has aged horribly. Very, very bad. Troccoli's striking is awkward, kind of sloppy, hands especially. He's tall, he's got some kicks and some grappling on paper, but he doesn't put it together in any convincing way. He had that old Contender Series win. I forgot who he fought, but it was back in 2019.
I got you.
But he popped, I think his name was Kenneth Berg, I believe, but he popped for Nandrolone after that, and that fight was at light heavyweight. Since then, no PEDs, less mass. The whole dating Mackenzie Dern bump didn't exactly translate into the
it was Kenneth Berg too. Good memory, Shrikar.
Yeah, so the UFC is absolutely using him here as a setup opponent. And Abdul-Malik on the other side is a big, explosive athlete, as Chris mentioned, with a strong wrestling base and a real, I'm going to break you mentality. He's not the most polished striker in the world, but he's got heavy kicks, decent straight shots. He's relentless. We've already seen him overcome rough early stretches and still come back to win. And we mentioned that Cody Brundage fight last time out. Weird result, got overturned to a draw, but I'm not throwing him out over that. Before that, he starched Dusko Todorovic and came back on Nick Klein after early adversity. The guy is violent and opportunistic. Stylistically, I think he just overwhelms Troccoli. I think we're going to see heavy pressure, takedowns when he wants them, big ground and pound. Troccoli tends to wilt under that kind of pace and physicality. Honestly, I'd be surprised if this is competitive for long. We don't have official props yet for this fight as well, but inside the distance, especially knockout or TKO, is going to be the angle to watch. Mansur's record just screams violence, and Troccoli is absolutely a guy who could get ground and pounded into a turtled up stoppage or even give up his neck. So I'm going to say Mansur Abdul-Malik by finish. I'm leaning knockout or TKO by ground and pound. And yeah, he should get it done as a minus 1150 favorite. And we'll hope that he gets it done in the first round. But we're going to move on here to another, big kind of like fireworks kind of matchup, but in a different sense. This one will maybe be more competitive. We got the battle of Ibo versus Ivo. Ibo Aslan taking on Iwo Baraniewski, and I'm going with Baraniewski here. Baraniewski is coming off that nasty first round one-punch knockout over Muhammad Ali on Contender Series. Yeah, not that Muhammad Ali, just another guy named Muhammad Ali. Highly hyped Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy, big scary presence, and to just, Ivo just iced him with one shot. You can see right away this dude has serious power, slick straight shots down the pipe, especially that straight right. Aslan, on the other hand, looks like a menace, but fights in a very plodding, hittable way. He's stiff. He's slow for a light heavyweight. He throws these big looping power shots. Head movement is almost non-existent. We've seen him get taken down and submitted by Yankute Laba and then out kickboxed in a really ugly fight by Billy Elikana. Ibo's whole game is based on being a big slugger. He's dangerous, but he is limited. And now he's fighting a young, fast, well-rounded prospect with legit amateur experience and real grappling credentials. Baraniewski has options here, all right? He can absolutely catch Aslan on the feet with a straight right down the middle as Aslan plods into range, or he can mix in body lock takedowns, get on top, smash him with ground and pound, or set up a submission. Given how hittable Aslan is and how sus his grappling defenses looked, I think Baraniewski inside the distance is the way to go. I'm going to see what the odds are on that. Knockout or TKO by ground and pound with a submission very live once Aslan is hurt. He opened around minus 150 and is already pushing toward that near 2-1 favorite territory. So, I mean, which I agree with. I think by fight night, he should be in that minus 200 or more range. But I'm going to go Iwo Baraniewski inside the distance. I'm leaning knockout, but the sub is very live. So Ivo by knockout is plus 100. Ivo by sub is plus 550. I think either of those would be pretty good bets. And if you want a good double or nothing, take that knockout prop. I think that'd work out for you.
Yep, I agree. And then if you want the double chance on just inside the distance, that would be minus 150. I'm taking Iwo Baraniewski right here. I think that he is the all-around better fighter, and I think that he has more paths to victory than Ibo Aslan does. Shrikar mentioned the Billy Elikana fight. That was a complete snooze fest where both guys kind of just looked at each other and did nothing. And Billy Elikana just did a little bit less of nothing than Ibo Aslan. But yeah, I think he's just more content with trying to lure you into the pocket and just landing some crazy overhand shot or an uppercut that's going to put you out. There's really no technique to it. It's more of just, I'm the bigger and more powerful guy and I'm going to hit you and hopefully you drop. I think Ivo is polished in all aspects of MMA, to be completely honest. He is great. He is solid grappling. And we saw the power and the striking ability on Contender Series. I mean, this guy seems like he has a death touch. So, I mean, it's kind of pick your poison with him. And I really think that in a fight of bigger guys, I would rather take the fighter who has more paths to victory than not. So I really think we could see this fight go to the ground. Excuse me. Or we could just see Ivo straight up starch him. And I'm not counting out Ibo Aslan from landing a big punch because it's completely in the realm of possibility. But I think that Ivo, if he was going to play it smart, you know, maybe a 1-2 dart in and out of the pocket. And then as soon as Ibo, excuse me, there's a 1-letter difference in their name. As soon as Ibo loads up, then Ivo could really just shoot and get him to the ground. And on the ground, man, this guy is a killer. Nasty ground and pound. And he really can lock up a little club and sub. So that's why I think the double chance is maybe a little bit better. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick. But yeah, I think that Ivo is definitely the better fighter in this, and that's why I am taking him to beat Ibo. The
shout
evil
out
Ibo.
Ibo Aslan. I just came back from Turkey, so shout out to Ibo. But we're both picking you to lose, unfortunately, bud. Let's move on here to a shout out to the UFC website, by the way.
Shout out.
This one is tricky.
Who coded it?
Yeah, I don't know what went wrong. I mean, hey, you're getting a $7.7 billion deal from Paramount. You better figure this out. All right. But Edson Barboza versus Jalin Turner. This one is tricky, honestly, for me. But Chris, I want to see what you think first. Who you got?
Yeah, this is a little tricky because Edson is a fighter who's been around the block probably 3 times. Not even once, 3 times. This guy has been in the UFC for longer than you know, we've been watching, probably twice as long as we've been watching. I mean, he's a straight up killer. I mean, he has some of the best knockouts in UFC history. He can do it in any form or fashion. Spinning back kick, phantom overhand right against Shane Burgos, which still don't know how that happened, but that was kind of awesome to see. I mean, he is relentless and he's a very technical fighter, and he's still very powerful given the age. And I believe, what is he, almost 40? Is he 40? I'm checking right now. Sorry, I don't want to diss my guy Edson because yeah, he's 39. All right, so he's about to be 40. I'm definitely on the wrong side of 35. So I mean, it's very difficult because Jalin Turner in his last fight, Jalin Turner is a great fighter, in my opinion. He really is probably one of the most physically gifted UFC fighters that we have seen in quite some time. He's a 6'4" lightweight. Like, that is actually insane. This dude, like, he really lives up to his name. He is a tarantula, and he's powerful, and he has good striking. He has a great ground game as well. And in his last fight, we saw him make potentially a irrational on-the-spot decision to retire after getting submitted by Ignacio Bahamondes, who was also a great fighter. It just so happens that was Ignacio Bahamondes' first ever submission in his career. So yeah, I think he just wasn't in the right headspace, and he retires. I think I don't know if I could speak for you, Shrikar, but when I saw that, I knew he was coming back. I didn't think he was going to retire. I think he was just a little bit salty in the moment, and I think he did the right thing. I think he took some time off. Obviously, he probably didn't want to retire. He was just mad. I'm not going to speak for him though, because I'm not in his head. But if I was him, I probably would have been pretty mad too. But I think he's the better fighter in this fight. I mean, I think that Edson's going to have a lot of trouble closing the distance on a guy who has a massive reach. He has great kicks too, and he can grapple. And I really think that he just has the advantage in all the facets of fighting, to be completely honest. And I love Edson Barboza, and we've seen him pull things out of the fire. His last fight against Drakkar Klose really didn't, help my perception of where Edson's career is going, because, you get to the later stages, and unless you're kind of like a cyborg or, trying to think of a good comparison for, older fighters. I can't think of one right now, but I mean, there's very few fighters who at the age of 39, 40 are still, pumping out crazy wins against great up and coming competition. And not to say Jalin Turner's up and coming, but he's definitely a lot younger than Edson Barboza. And I think that the youth and just the sheer size advantage is going to be the difference here. So I'm going to take Jalin Turner by finish. I honestly think we could see a knockout, but just to play it safe, I'm going to go just inside the distance. Nice little double chance. I'll check what that is right now. Jalin Turner by double chance is minus 190. So Vegas is thinking the same as me.
Which is crazy because knockout or decision is minus 180. So not much of a difference, which kind of goes to show they think Jalin Turner is going to knock Edson Barboza out.
Yeah, probably.
I'm picking Jalin Turner, but I want to be very clear. This is a high variance spot because of the mental side of Jalen's game. Skill for skill, Turner has so many advantages that you went over, Chris. He's 6'3", 6'4" at lightweight, long limbs, 75.5-inch reach, fast hands, long kicks. He is the better grappler here. He can absolutely get to Edson with his hands, especially up the middle. If he decides to mix in takedowns, that's another advantage for him. The concern is his confidence and mentality. He literally retired after the Ignacio Bahamondes loss at 29, then came back. In that Bahamondes fight, he kind of gave up the triangle, tapped quickly, didn't look like the version of Turner we've seen against guys like Dan Hooker and Mateusz Gamrot. When he's on, he's dropping and almost finishing Moicano in the first round. He's knocking Bobby Green out with one shot. He's giving Dan Hooker absolute hell. When he's off, he looks hesitant, second guesses himself, makes weird decisions. Edson is almost 40 now. He's still dangerous, nasty body kicks, nasty leg kicks, clean kickboxing, but his durability and speed are clearly fading. McQueen is fading. He's taken a ton of damage over the years. And while he can absolutely hurt Turner with big kicks, he is going to be at a speed and length disadvantage and won't have that grappling threat to fall back on. From a matchup perspective, Turner has the better grappling, is the more dangerous finisher at this stage, is the more physically prime athlete. But mentally, I need to see how he shows up fight week. His body language, his media answers, the weigh-ins, all of it. If he looks locked in, this is his fight to lose. If he looks shaky, Edson absolutely has that shot to upset, to knock him out or outpoint him. Right now, I believe Turner is sitting at minus 300. Around that, with Barboza around plus 240.
Yep.
That's a big price tag for a guy with known mental lapses. I'll still pick Turner, but betting-wise, I think this is a proceed with caution spot. I personally am not going to bet on this fight. Jalin Turner, I think, will win. I'm leaning decision or late finish. But the mental questions are very, very real in this fight. So, again, if you're betting it, I'd be very careful. But both of us going with Jalin Turner here. Still no parity, but if we go off what the odds makers say, this next one, as we go past Jalin Turner and Edson Barboza, once again, the odds makers think this one is very, very close. This one is lined up at a pick'em. Marvin Vettori versus Brunno Ferreira. Sorry to all my Italians that are watching this right now. I know Chris has that in his blood. I'm picking Brunno Ferreira over Marvin Vettori. Italian MMA has been on a rough skid lately, but again, this is not about nationality. It's about styles. Vettori is insanely tough, insanely durable, shacked out of his mind, but he does not hit very hard. He is a decision machine. Decent southpaw straight left, decent right hook, good body kicks, but he doesn't have that real fight-ending pop. Brunno Ferreira absolutely does. Ferreira is dangerous every time he throws. He's got serious power, a strong judo base, legit submission skills. He's on a nice streak with back-to-back subs and that brutal knockout over RoboCop in his debut. Yes, the level of competition in those subs wasn't elite, but the tools are real. Cardio is the big concern with Brunno. He's never been to a decision. It's finish or bust. Vettori, meanwhile, is incredibly durable and will still be there in round 3, even if he's getting battered. That's where Marvin's only real win condition shows up. Surviving early, watching Ferreira slow, then outworking him late, or maybe snatching a sub if Brunno is completely gassed. But the version of Vettori we've seen lately has been taking a lot of damage. Brendan Allen beat him up badly. His last meaningful win was years ago. His finishing ability just isn't there. And his durability has to start slipping eventually with all the wear and tear. I think Brunno's power, speed, explosiveness are a nightmare for this current version of Marvin. He can match Marvin's strength in the clinch, keep it standing, land the bigger, cleaner shots. I would not be shocked if he becomes the first man to actually knock Vettori out. Odds are basically even, and I think Ferreira is going to slide into slight favorite territory as we get closer to fight night. I think a lot of people are going to see him as the underdog right now and just start chucking money on him. I'm going to say Brunno Ferreira wins this fight. I'm leaning knockout, but he can win a decision too if he paces himself. But as I mentioned, this guy's finish or bust, but I think Brunno is going to win. Straight up.
Oh, every time I pick Marvin Vettori, or recently, I've been let down. If you do the same thing over and over again and you get the same result, that's the definition of insanity. Call me insane because I'm picking Marvin Vettori. I love Brunno Ferreira too. I mean, I've been so high on Brunno Ferreira. I picked him as a plus 290 dog against RoboCop 2 years ago. I think this guy has all the tools in making to be a great fighter in this middleweight division. But like you said, Shrikar, the problem with me is the cardio. And I feel like I can't bet against Vettori's chin cracking until I actually see it crack. Because on one hand, on the Ferreira side, this guy's a killer. He can take you down, submit you. He could also knock you out with one punch. Vettori, doesn't hit the hardest. He doesn't hit the hardest. But I could be damn sure that he's going to grind his way to a decision, no matter if he's crawling to the finish line or running to the finish line. So I don't know. It's so hard. And I just think that the odds for me, it's a little tricky. And I think that when you look at this, after Vettori's history and his past couple years in the UFC, you would probably expect Brunno Ferreira to be a decently solid favorite, in my opinion. And when I saw these odds at Pick'em, I said, all right, that's just interesting to me. I'm definitely going to, this pick might be subject to change, and we always like to shout this out, but check out the Instagram on Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. That's when we release our final picks. And, if we second guess ourselves or, just have a little change of heart, the final picks will be out on the Instagram on Saturday. You see it on the bottom of the screen right there. But as of right now, I really want to pick Marvin Vettori, and I think this is a big step up in competition for Brunno Ferreira. And yes, he beat RoboCop, who was also a great fighter in middleweight, and he's proven it time and time again. But I do think that Vettori he's one hard cookie to crack. Pause. But he's good. Like he's not bad. I think he's been just been losing to some of the best middleweights in the world. And until I really see him fade like Lightning McQueen, and he has been fading, but he hasn't fallen all the way back into last yet. Like I said, until I see that chin crack, and this very well might be the fight. This really could be, because Brunno has the power and striking ability to really put Vettori on his butt, and he's not waking up from that. But I just like this spot for Vettori to bounce back and, maybe even step into the role as gatekeeper in this middleweight division. because, if Bruno Ferreira can knock out Marvin Vettori, this guy can knock out anyone. Like you said, it's never been done. No one has ever knocked out Marvin Vettori. I actually am so confident that you could probably hit Marvin Vettori on the head with a sledgehammer and he'd just stand there and be like, oh, funny. Like, that's how I feel about Vettori. And obviously, I think Brunno is a little bit better. He's better skilled, and I think he has more paths to victory. And I don't like taking someone just based off durability. But I feel like as of right now, at this very moment, on Wednesday, December 3rd, which is when we are recording, I like Marvin Vettori's chances in this fight. So I'm going to pick him. I might change. Like I said, be sure to check the Instagram on Saturday for final picks. But the Italian Stallion, baby. Let's go Italia. Viva Italia.
Yeah, you talk about the Instagram and you talk about potential pick flips.
Yeah, this is a good one, bro.
First fight of the prelims, Nazim Sadykhov versus Perez Ziam. When this fight got announced, I was kind of hoping that someone would just pull out because, like, these guys, as good as this fight is, these guys are both so deserving of being in the rankings that I'm like, I hate that they're fighting each other, But this is such a sick fight, man. Like, I cannot wait for this one. Chris, who you got winning this one? This is a very high level lightweight fight.
I'm glad to see Fares Ziam back in action after dealing with personal matters. So congrats to you, Fares. Glad to see you back in the octagon. Nazim, this dude's a dog, man. I don't even think this is gonna be my pick. It's gonna be a hand gesture, not inappropriate.
Long Island, baby.
Yeah. Nazim trains with Ray Longo, all the boys out there in Mineola. I think Fares is a great fighter, and he does very good at managing the distance and controlling the pace of the fight in the way that he wants to fight. And Nazim is a fighter that doesn't care what you're doing. He's just you could throw a kitchen sink at him, and he's gonna take it and move forward and throw everything that he has into every strike. I think he has solid takedown defense. I don't think he's going to get taken down as easily as, it might suggest, because Fares he does have good takedowns, and he has some solid trips, and he does have a big reach advantage. If you look on the bottom of the screen, he has a 6-inch reach. So Nazim's going to have to get in there and make it dirty, and I think that's what he's really good at. I think he's just a very clean inside the pocket boxer. He does have kicks too, and he might get caught. We saw it in his last fight against Nicholas Mota, where he was almost flat on his back and locked in, and then knocked out Nicholas Mota with an insane strikes. So yeah, I'm riding with the not hometown boy, my hometown boy. But yeah, I really like his chance in this fight. Like Shrikar said, this might be a subject to change, but we will see.
I'm gonna pick Fares Ziam by 29-28.
Let's go parity.
Both guys are well-rounded. Both can grapple. Both can strike. Sadykhov likes to get in the pocket, land quick combos, rip to the body, finish with kicks and elbows. We've seen his grappling too. He submitted Terrence McKinney, but that's not his main focus. Ziam, though, has really improved since his early UFC days. He's got a great frame for 155, much better defensive grappling now. He's learning how to use his range. I think the grappling mostly cancels out here, and this becomes a range striking fight. Sadykhov wants to roll with shots in the pocket and rip to the body. Ziam's going to be at the end of the jab. Front kicks to the body, leg kicks, head kicks, counters. I think Ziam's variety plus his length will let him edge out a close one. So, again, subject to change, but I'm going to say Fares Ziam gets it done by 29-28 decision. Look, I really like Nazim Sadykhov. He is such a good fighter. I literally just cannot pick against Fares Ziam. Like, I think he's that good. Like, that's why this is so tough for me. And if we look at the odds, it's pretty close, but Ziam is the favorite at minus 130. And you can catch Sadykhov at plus 110. So this is a great fight. This is a really, really good fight. Should be super high level.
I'm excited. Yeah, this is going to be a war, in my opinion. It's going to be like a technical war until Nazim Sadykhov starts throwing caution to the wind and not caring about point fighting.
Yeah, no, it definitely should be a good scrap. We have our only women's fight on the card here now. Maycee Barber versus Karine Silva. I'm going with Karine Silva. I'm just not a full believer in Barber as some unstoppable future champ. She's tough. She's got high output. She's in great shape. But her defense is leaky. Her grappling is decent. I don't think it's levels above Silva's. Karine Silva is the sharper striker. She is more tactical. I think she hits harder. She's got good teeps to the body, nice straight shots, dangerous submission game. Rewatch that Araujo fight, man. Silva was very live in that one and could have gotten the nod. She's also been active, clearly improving. Barber, meanwhile, has been out for a year and 8 months. She's had multiple fights fall through, including the Blanchfield main event that she pulled out of late. That's a red flag for momentum and possibly mentality. Stylistically, Barber's best path is to turn this into a high-pace, grindy fight where she wins on sheer volume and pressure down the stretch, but Silva is going to be the sharper blade early. And I trust her technique more in both striking and jiu-jitsu. She also has the power to hurt Barber, which is something Barber hasn't had to worry about every time out. Silva being the underdog at around plus 150, plus 155 is wild to me. If she'd gotten that split decision against Araujo, she's probably the favorite here. I'm just being honest. I'm going to say Karine Silva wins this fight. I'm leaning decision, but I think a finish is very live. Sub and knockout, both very live in this fight. Yeah, give me the dog here. Karine Silva.
Dude. I was hoping there was going to be parity. I'm taking Karine Silva too. Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. I think Maycee Barber's solid. There's just a lot of red flags on that side that I don't feel comfortable, picking her. And the Blanchfield fight, wasn't that in July, August?
Believe it was in May.
Or May. Wow. Way off. I got fog brain right now. Yeah.
I had to think too. I had to think about it.
That was bad. Yeah. Why did I think
it was a pretty forgettable card, to be fair?
Yeah, it was. And that, because I remember watching it and then they go, yeah, this fight isn't happening. I'm just sitting there like, you gotta be kidding me.
So we hope you guys enjoyed your main event of Ludovic Klein and Mateusz Gamrot.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. It's like, no, I didn't. Yeah, but yeah, there's just a lot of red flags on Maycee Barber's side, and I think she's the cleaner striking in my opinion, and she does have solid grappling. But for what we've been seeing from Karine Silva recently, I agree with you, Shrikar, and you saying that she's going to be the sharper blade earlier, and I think in this fight, Maycee Barber can't afford to fall behind. I think she has to be the aggressor from the beginning. She has to dictate the pace and really just land volume strikes. But with Karine, she can throw everything on the feet right back at you. It might not be as powerful or as technical, but she can stand and bang with you if that's what Maycee Barber wants to do. And if it goes to the floor, I think she has the advantage there, even though sometimes I've seen Karine kind of accept being on her back, which I'm not a big fan of. I think she's very confident in her grappling ability that she might be able to get a triangle up. And we saw it in the Dione Barboza fight. She did get a triangle up from her back, and that was a little bit of a questionable fight. And she did get the nod, even though personally I thought Barboza won, but I went back and looked at it, and I really think that Silva did enough to get that decision on her side. But I think that on the ground, that's where it's gonna really play out. On the feet, if it stays on the feet the whole time, I'm not so confident in Karine Silva. And if I realize that's happening, might be worth a Maycee Barber live bet. But I'm venturing to say that we're going to see this fight hit the ground at some point, and I'm going to say Maycee Barber's going to be in danger there. I think it's going to go to decision, and I'm going to side with Karine Silva, but yeah, I feel like Maycee Barber, until she gets her situation figured out, she's like a stay away fighter and pretty much a fade, in my opinion.
100%. Yeah, I didn't think we were both going to side with Karine Silva.
Yeah, they might change because look, if Maycee looks good on the scales, might have to change, but I don't know. She has a lot going on, and the absence too really makes me a little bit nervous for her. And I honestly could see these odds flipping by the time this fight goes on.
Yeah, honestly, I don't foresee this as one I'll flip. I'm probably going to stick with Silva through.
Yeah, like let me see. Dude, Karine Silva right now on Wednesday, 33% of the bets, 66% of the handle. So early sharp bettors are on Karine Silva, but it's early, so that number is definitely going to change. So, yeah, that's something I like to look for. I'm excited for this next fight, though. Woo, violence!
Yeah, another high level lightweight fight. This is the second of our 3 high level lightweight fights on this card, and all of them happen to be in the prelim section. So that's obviously great. Terrence McKinney versus Chris Duncan. This is chaos. This is a very chaotic fight. Chris, obviously, you are very, very high on Chris Duncan. You were very excited for this fight when it got announced. Now who you got?
Fight to end in the first round. Might be a lock. This is really hard for me. I love Chris Duncan, and I'll just say right now, I'm going to take him. But Terrence McKinney could be, like, in my opinion, skill for skill. If he had a cardio tank and a chin, which is a lot to ask for, dude, he could be actually one of the best fighters in the UFC. This guy actually has steel fists. He is insane at grappling. He throws caution to the wind as soon as the horn rings or the bell sounds. And I mean, I just said that backwards, right? Horn rings, bell sounds. Horn sounds, bell rings.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm losing it. But look, I think Terrence McKinney is going to give Chris Duncan a lot of trouble early. But the key word is early, because Chris Duncan is pretty durable, and I don't think he's the better skilled fighter in this fight. And I said it with the Vettori fight. I hate betting on someone because they're durable, but the reason I'm taking Chris Duncan is because McKinney has gassed so quick so many times. It's like once you get past that 3-minute mark in the first round, he is just a completely different fighter, and the cardio drop off is just it's really crazy. And Duncan, we've seen him get rocked, taken down. He's gotten sub before. Even if McKinney wants to shoot a little double leg and take him down, or a single leg, Chris Duncan is a nasty guillotine. He will jump on that neck instantly, and he is powerful and big enough to weigh you down, get you to the floor, and really just crank the neck. But McKinney has all the opportunity to really make this an interesting fight in the first 2.5 minutes. And if I'm betting on McKinney, I would bet McKinney and under half a round if you're going to like do a little fight parlay. Because after that, I think he's going to be a massive underdog on live odds. But yeah, I think Duncan, he's going to grind it out for the first couple minutes, and then he's really just going to start swinging, and he's going to catch McKinney because the chin is very susceptible. Even though I love you, Terrence McKinney, think you're a great fighter, that is definitely your weakness. So give me Chris Duncan by knockout. I think we're going to see a brutal finish here.
Yeah, honestly, I thought Chris Duncan was going to be an even heavier favorite. I didn't think the odds would be this close.
I think it's because Duncan's a slow starter too.
He is, but I'm picking Chris Duncan too because he can survive that first round storm. McKinney, as you mentioned, you said it yourself. McKinney is basically 5 minutes of pure madness. He's incredibly dangerous early. Huge power, explosive strikes, fast submissions, strong wrestling. But if he doesn't get you out of there in round one, things almost always fall apart. Chris Duncan is the exact type of guy who can weather that. He's tough. He's proven he can come back from adversity and make adjustments mid-fight. We just saw it against someone like Matusz Rambecki. That guy is a monster. And Duncan showed real grit and composure. McKinney's record tells the story. Tons of first-round finishes, and almost all of his losses are him getting finished once the fight goes past that early burst.
Yep.
There's just no second gear for him. It's all gas, no brakes until the tank is empty. I think McKinney is going to come out guns blazing, maybe even hit some takedowns and hunt some missions. If Duncan survives that, the momentum flips fast. Duncan starts landing, McKinney slows, the cardio and durability gap shows. From a betting angle, if you like McKinney, you have to look at round one props or inside the distance, not the money line. Two, if you think Chris Duncan is going to win, I would hammer fight to end in round 2 or Duncan to win in round 2. Duncan to win by finish.
That's plus 650.
Duncan to win in round 2 is plus 650.
Yeah.
Hammer that if you think Chris Duncan is going to win this fight. I think he's going to do it by knockout or a guillotine. And I think, again, McKinney is always fun. It's always fun to have Terrence McKinney, especially on your last pay-per-view. It's only right he made an appearance, but
yep.
Yeah, I think he's going to get it done. Chris Duncan gets it done here. We'll move on to our third high-level lightweight fight. Also happens to be our featured prelim, Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres. And I'm siding with Manuel Torres for the upset.
No, what, dude? Come on. Why didn't you give it to me? As you can tell, I'm taking Manuel Torres too.
I was always going to take Torres. As soon as this fight got announced.
Loco!
I mean, I'll say this. This is one of those fights where dynamic is simple on paper, but very dangerous in practice. On one side, you've got Grant Dawson, elite grappling, relentless pressure, great top control. On the other, Manuel Torres, one of the scariest, cleanest, fastest hitters at lightweight. When he throws straight down the pipe, it is literally the death touch. Literally the death touch. Here is the issue for Dawson. He really doesn't deal well with straight punches. He's fine when guys loop wide at him because he can shell up, block, shoot under. But against clean, technical straights.
Bobby Green.
Yeah, he gets smoked. We've seen it multiple times now. As you just mentioned, Chris, Bobby Green needed one clean shot to put him out cold. I mean, it got done to him years ago, too. I'm forgetting the name. I believe Hugh Pulley was his name.
I got you.
Same thing happened to Grant Dawson years ago. When a straight punch sneaks through, Dawson's lights go out.
Hugh Pulley. Good memory, Shrikar.
And Torres, I mean, all he throws are lasers down the middle. Yes, Dawson can wrestle. Yes, he can absolutely get takedowns here. But Torres is not some clueless grappler. He's slick, explosive. He's actually a BJJ brown belt who just pulled off a submission on Chris Duncan, who we just talked about, who we've picked to beat Terrence McKinney. I mean, he's shown he can defend takedowns, force the fight back into boxing range where he is terrifying. This fight comes down to minutes versus moments. Dawson needs minutes of control. Torres needs 1 moment.
Yep.
And if Dawson can't lock this thing down early and keep it locked down, eventually they're going to be standing across from each other. And Manuel Torres is going to let something nuclear fly straight down the pipe. And I don't trust Dawson's chin in that scenario at all. The current line, Dawson minus 220, Torres plus 180. I love Torres as an underdog. This might be my favorite underdog on the card because I think he has the clearest win condition. Dawson's only path is wrestling, and even then, he has to be perfect. That's a tight needle to thread when the other guy is throwing bazookas at your face, So I'm going to take Manuel Torres by knockout. Dawson is a tested fighter, but he's got a very questionable chin, is very one-dimensional. I think Torres's wins over Duncan and Mata have aged beautifully. He's a very tricky guy to face. It just seems like it's his moment, to be honest.
Dude, I couldn't have said it any more perfectly. I was really banking on you taking Grant Dawson because I really wanted to be the only one to pick Manuel Torres. You know how much I love El Loco, bro. He is a firecracker in the octagon. Like, dude, when he hits you, you gasp and you get on the edge of your seat when he throws punches because, like, oh my God, could this be the one? Could this be the one? He's 4-1 in the UFC. His one loss to Ignacio Bahamondes, who is a great striker and posed problems just because he was a lot bigger than Manuel Torres, and kind of they both had the same game plan. In Manuel Torres' 4 wins in the UFC, he has had a performance of the night bonus in every single one. If I could bet on Manuel Torres to get a performance of the night bonus, I would, but I can't. So obviously, maybe I should go on Kalshi or Polymarket or something. But yeah, I mean, dude, he's so good. And like you said, I mean, Grant Dawson, he's not going to sit there and try and piece up Manuel Torres. His path to victory is wrestling. And Manuel Torres is a solid grappler. He might not be able to defend every takedown, but he's going to work his hardest to get right back up. And even if he has to lay on his back for a minute, he is live for a sub. He can submit you, just like we said. He submitted Chris Duncan, who's not a terrible grappler, but, in positions of, peril that you might think another fighter, he's done because he's on his back, or, he's in side control, or whatever position you want to think of in your imagination. Manuel Torres can get out of it. He's a BJJ brown belt, like Shrikar said. I mean, what more do you have to prove? I mean, I think he might get taken down in this fight, but I don't think he's going to get held there. I think he's bigger than Grant Dawson, and even though they're the same height, same reach, same weight, I don't know. When I look at Manuel Torres, I feel like he's going to be a little bit more of a mass, and I think that might pose some problems for Grant Dawson. He's also going to be really aggressive. So the best way to combat wrestling is to put a wrestler on the back foot. It's really hard to wrestle moving backwards. You want to be moving forwards, and I don't think Manuel Torres is going to give up any ground in that octagon. He loves holding the center, and he loves being the one in control. I think we're going to see Manuel Torres by knockout in the first round.
First round finish is the prediction.
Yep.
Both of us in the feature prelim going with the underdog. We've taken a lot of underdogs so far. I know. Let's just look back through this.
There goes parity.
Santos was a favorite. Mansur was a favorite. Evo was the favorite.
Jalen Turner
favorite. So I took Brunno, and Brunno was a dog.
Yep.
You took Sadykhov. Sadykhov is a dog, but I took Ziam. Both went Karine Silva. Yep. We both went Chris Duncan.
We both went Duncan.
He's live. And then we both go with Manuel Torres.
It's like four combined dogs.
Yeah, and we haven't even moved on to the main card yet, which, if you're still with us, make sure you like the video, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, like it up, share it. Helps us out a lot. Let's get to this main card. Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov, legendary Polish power.
Polish power. 2 Polish powers on this card.
So this was originally, 2 Polish, but this was originally going to be on the Qatar card, and I'm glad it got moved to 323 because Qatar was getting completely oversaturated at that point, and also because it is good for a guy like Bogdan Guskov to potentially, depending on who you pick, to potentially get a big win in front of this size of audience. Now, with that being said, Chris, who are you taking here?
This is tough, man. This really is like a coin flip, in my opinion. I think the odds are perfect. I think Jan's strength of schedule recently has him being a little bit of a favorite, which I agree with, because when you look at his losses, I mean, he's pretty much lost to the best recently, and he's a 42-year-old light heavyweight. And you have Bogdan Guskov, who is on a tear right now. This guy just flatlined Nikita Krylov with one punch, and shout out Trikar for calling that Bogdan Guskov first round knockout that was in Saudi Arabia,
Dhabi.
right? Or Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on the Abu Dhabi card. That was absolutely awesome to see. And yeah, I mean, you look at Guskov and you look at this little win streak that he's put together. You might be a little scared because in his first fight in the UFC, he got choked out by Volkan Oezdemir, who you really wouldn't expect to choke out. You wouldn't really want to expect him to choke someone out, especially someone like Guskov, who does have solid grappling. He's kind of just a mass of a man who likes to, mix it up, body locks, little bit of takedowns, but not too heavy on that aspect. And then Zach Pauga, Ryan Spann, Billy Elikana, Nikita Krylov. And he's shown that he can sub, he can knock you out, and he's the complete package. And I really think he deserves getting this push because, I mean, you knock out Krylov, who was 10? Was he 10? I think he was 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, look, you should be fighting in the top 10. What is Jan Blachowicz right now? Is he top 5? He's not top. Is he top 5?
He is, I believe he's at 5.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
But still, progressively in Guskov's UFC career, he's been getting a step up in competition every single time, and he's passed the test every single time. I look at Jan Blachowicz, and I really want to take him because I think that like I said, strength of schedule and just the experience is going to pay dividends here. But do I really want to pick a 42-year-old light heavyweight against a guy who's 33 and can just
we've seen some old men make magic at light heavyweight before.
We have. And just look, if you're curious, just look at Jan Blachowicz's resume, his losses. Draw with Magomed Ankalaev. He lost to Olberg in a honestly a decently it was a decision fight to Olberg, who was knocking out everyone. Split decision to Alex Pereira. I mean, the guy still has it. He still has it.
And by the way, one loss you didn't mention there, he got submitted by Glover Teixeira, who was, I believe, 43 at the time they fought.
You're right.
So when you talk about the whole age question,
I think I'm gonna go Guskov. I don't know. I think the youthful exuberance is gonna pay dividends here, and he's gonna make Jan Blachowicz pay. If Jan starts landing leg kicks like he did against Ankalaev and just starts eating it up and killing the mobility of Guskov, then I'm gonna be a little bit nervous. But I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna ride the hot hand here, and the hot hand is Bogdan Guskov. So give me Guskov by a knockout. He's gonna knock him out. I'm calling it. Polish power is gonna go down. Timber.
All right, buckle up, because I'm also going with Bogdan Guskov.
Oh, dude, come on.
I'm also going with Bogdan Guskov to get the job done. Listen, I love Jan, former champ, legendary Polish power, legend of the division. But he is about to be 43 years old. This division is unforgiving. And Guskov isn't just some random prospect. He is the hot new contender at light heavyweight right now.
He's a scary dude.
Very scary.
He looks scary. He looks
so
scary.
bald, man. Like,
I know he like almost looks like Uzbekistani Voldemort.
Yeah, he literally does he gives a lot of Voldemort vibes. Guskov, another thing he brings, forward pressure, huge power, clean boxing, great footwork for a big guy, legit counter ability, fast hands for 205. He doesn't fight like a typical light heavyweight. He fights like someone who should be in a smaller division. I think the speed is real. Now, Jan absolutely can go to the calf kick. That's his best long-range weapon. And if Guskov decides to have a long-distance, slow-paced, technical striking match, Jan can definitely bank rounds with that. But that's not how Guskov fights. He closes distance fast, and once he gets into boxing range, Jan is at a massive disadvantage at this age. I think it's going to look... I think Jan is going to try to backpedal, try to escape the barrage. Guskov catches him with something looping over the top as Jan's feet just get stuck in the mud. Jan's still tough. He's still smart, but Father Time is undefeated. And Guskov's explosiveness is exactly the type of matchup older fighters struggle with. The odds have moved to almost even. We have Guskov, or we have Jan at minus 130, and we have Guskov at plus 110. I am riding with the younger, faster, more dangerous fighter. I will also say Bogdan Guskov by knockout. I think he will flat Pavlovich. Again, we've seen some old men in this division make magic. I don't think Jan is among them. And honestly, I think this is a setup fight. I think putting this on a pay-per-view main card, they want to highlight Bogdan Guskov. This is his moment, just like with Manuel Torres. I think this is his moment to shine. I think he's going to get it done. We move on. Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbott. So I guess the big storyline around this is the passing of the torch fight. Now Cejudo has talked about retiring. He has had open thoughts about, or he's literally came out and said, this is kind of it for me. Now, I don't know if I'm going to take him to his word, considering he's retired like 4 times already, but either way, I'm going Peyton Talbott. Look, Cejudo is one of the greatest combat sports athletes in history. Olympic gold medalist, 2-division UFC champ. But the fact that he's openly talking about retirement, I talked about this during the Jalin Turner Edson Barboza breakdown. The fact that he's openly talking about retirement, mentally, that's a bad place to be when the guy across from you is 25 years old trying to take your head off. Peyton Talbott is a problem. He's long, fast, insanely good at managing distance. And stylistically, he's the exact kind of fighter Cejudo struggles with late in his career. Tall, rangy, mobile strikers who don't give you easy entries. We saw that in the Song Yadong fight. Talbott's takedown defense is better than people realize. And after the Barcelos fight, you know he's been drilling it nonstop. He already showed massive improvement in the Felipe Lima fight. And Felipe Lima is a dude who is a hammer at 145. So I'm going to say Talbott jabs him up, keeps the body, forces Cejudo to chase, defends enough takedowns, wins the long-range exchanges. I don't think he knocked Henry out unless he lands some brutal liver kicks, but I do think he outpoints him over 3 rounds. Odds already reflect this. Talbott is minus 280, Cejudo plus 225. I think Peyton Talbott gets it done by decision.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the passing of the torch. Cejudo, I wish he didn't retire the first or second or third time. I feel like he really still could have been a problem in this division if he just kept it going. And who knows where he would be on the list of greatest flyweights or bantamweights. But yeah, I mean, dude, also look at the size difference. 5'10" to 5'4", 70.5-inch reach to 64. Peyton Talbott's the real deal. I know we gave him a lot of flack. Yeah, so that's the right word. We gave him a lot of flack for losing to Raoni Barcelos. But I think that was just a really good performance by Barcelos, and Talbott, still going through a little bit of growing pains. I think that was a great fight for him to lose, honestly, and really lock in and understand what his weaknesses were. And after that fight, we've seen him, dog Felipe Lima, just absolutely dominate that fight, and everyone counted him out. He went from being a minus 1100 favorite to a plus 140 underdog. and then fought like a minus 1100 favorite. So yeah, I think this is also another good test for him. An old scrappy vet who has proven himself in all levels of MMA. You know, Triple C. He's one of, I would say he's a top 20 fighter of all time. I mean, I'm just saying that as a pretty wide range of fighters, but I mean, the dude is good. Like, he was amazing when he was fighting. Now it's father time. The one person who's always undefeated in MMA and retires other than Khabib is Father Time. Father Time always catches up to you. And it's sad because, you know, you don't really want to see the fighters that you watched growing up go, but that's just kind of how it works. And I think Peyton Talbott, this is his chance to make a statement win, which I think he will. I think it's going to be by decision. I still think Henry is durable. And, you know, I would have loved to see the fight with Song Yadong actually reach the conclusion other than an eye poke. And I know everyone was saying, oh, blah, blah, blah. He could see, you know, I don't know. That was a pretty deep eye poke, and I don't blame Cejudo for stepping out of that, especially
they're doing the same thing with Tom Aspinall now. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, look, if your vision is compromised and you're seeing double, that you're going to hurt yourself really bad, and you're going to worsen your quality of life when you get older. And for a guy who's on the verge of retirement, there's really no point for him to put himself in harm's way like that anymore. I know entering the octagon is putting yourself in harm's way, but no extra damage. But I think Peyton Talbott's a great fighter, very technical, like you said, Shrikar, good takedown defense, sharp kicks, sharp punches. You know, I feel like he's very fluid wherever the fight goes, especially in the clinches and everything. And yeah, I mean, he's going to be a problem in bantamweight. He's really good. And like I said, I think that Barcelos loss really is going to be the best thing to happen to him for his career. Because honestly, I think the sky's the limit for this kid. So let's do it. I can't say kid. He's older than me. Sorry. But yeah, so let's go Peyton Talbott. I'm excited for this fight too. I want to see how this turns out and see if Cejudo can bring out some of his scrappy vet tricks.
Yeah, weird that until further notice, this basically makes Talbott the backup fighter for the main event. But regardless, it's again great step up for Talbott. Still a stylistically winnable fight for Cejudo. Talbott needs to be on the right side of a changing of the guard fight. Cejudo needs a win over someone like this to prove that he can still compete at the highest level, you know, just to stay relevant. But this is a good fight nonetheless. We move on to our featured bout. So obviously we've known about this one for a while. Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. This is a very fun fight. Very, very fun fight. And a clear, rightful matchup to decide the next title challenger. Chris, who you got in this one?
Who do you think I have in this one?
Moreno.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Also, look at the shorts. Those are fire.
Yeah. It debuted when he fought Urseg in Mexico.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Dude, those are custom.
Fog brain. Sorry. Yeah, no, I mean, I think Taira is amazing. We've said it before. I think the two best chances of beating Pantoja are going to be Taira and Josh Van, and one of those guys is fighting him, and we're going to talk about him next, and Josh Van. But yeah, I still think Moreno's got it. I don't know. I don't really know how well Taira is going to fare, because although he's the better grappler, don't get me wrong, Moreno's a really good anti-grappler, and I don't see Taira really keeping up with him on the feet, because I like to consider Moreno a phenomenal boxer. I mean, that guy loves to get in and out. He can tag you, and he's powerful too. We've seen it time and time again that when he lands, he's going to cause damage. He has kicks too. We saw that against Kai Kara France, the nasty liver shot to get the interim belt. It all comes down to how well Taira is going to do in the grappling game. And although he might have some success, I don't think Brandon Moreno is going to accept being on the ground. So I feel like a lot of people might be, really using the last fight that he had against Hyun Sung Park as a gauge, or even him going to split decision with Royval, and then you look on the back half and Royval beat Moreno. So, you do a little bit of MMA math. But I don't know. I still think that Moreno's got it. And I think that he's still going to be at the top for as long as he possibly can. And even when he fought Pantoja, until really the last fight, he was doing pretty solid in the grappling department. Like, he wasn't getting dominated. So I think the anti-grappling is going to be the difference here, or Taira's, level of grappling. Like, is he really a grappling expert? I think that's what we're going to find out in this fight. But I got to go with the vet, man. I got to go with Brandon Moreno to get it done. The assassin baby. And he's wearing cool shorts. So I feel like that's like extra attribute boost.
Yeah, this is such a sick matchup. Once again,
it is. It's going to be high level MMA. We'll say that.
I'm going with Tatsuro Taira.
Oh, thank God. Finally.
I think this is going to be Taira's breakthrough win. I wish this fight was 5 rounds, because this has Fight Night main event written all over it. But in a 3-rounder, I like Taira's chances even more. Moreno brings, as you mentioned, classic Mexican-style boxing, heavy kicks, great scrambles, great chin, championship-level experience. But stylistically, Taira is a nightmare matchup for him in the grappling and transitional scrambles. Moreno is a fantastic scrambler, but Taira is faster in transitions and more technically sharp with his positional jiu-jitsu. I think we're going to see a lot of clinch battles where Taira uses trips, body locks, back takes rather than shooting doubles. That's where he excels. On the feet, Moreno's straight right can definitely land, but Taira's hands are underrated. He's fast. He's been improving fight to fight, and at 25 years old, he's still leveling up every time he walks into the cage. Moreno will absolutely have moments. I don't disagree there. He's too good not to. But Taira's grappling advantage is real. When they hit the mat, I think Taira wins the positional battles more often than not. Odds are basically a coin flip. Taira minus 130, Moreno plus 110. I'm going to say Tatsuro Taira wins a competitive decision 29-28. Again, it's definitely a close fight. I do hope this event ends in a way where we get Pantoja versus Taira and Moreno versus Van, regardless of which fight is for the belt. So that would mean Moreno and Van both win and we get Van and Moreno, or Moreno and Van both lose and we still get Van and Moreno. So I hope those are the next 2 matchups next at flyweight. I think those are the 2 most stylistically interesting fights in the division as it would stand in terms of hypotheticals. But yeah, I think Tatsuro Taira is going to get this one done. I guess it's a good segue straight into our co-main event. Flyweight title fight. Alexandre Pantoja.
The cannibal.
Joshua Van.
Fearless.
This is such a cool fight. I can't wait to talk about this one. Obviously, we've had our internal discussions for a while. We've known about this fight for a long time, ever since Van beat Royval at UFC 317 and Pantoja handled business against KKF. We knew this fight was going to happen. This is going to be so cool to watch. Between his better high-volume striking, cardio, the wrestling defense, I think Van is going to be the toughest opponent Pantoja has faced in a very long time. I've been a Joshua Van witness since the beginning, and we've arrived at the moment. I'm going Joshua Van. I'm going Joshua Van to dethrone Alexandre Pantoja. This is not disrespect to Pantoja. I love his game. He's violent. He's relentless. He is durable. He is a dog. But every champ eventually gets matched with a stylistic problem they've never seen before. Joshua Van is that problem. He is one of the best combo punchers in the entire UFC. Ridiculously fast. Stupidly durable. A cardio machine. a scrambler, hard to hold down, smart, disciplined, improving every fight. And most importantly, Pantoja has never fought someone who throws combos like Van. Most flyweights try to land the one big shot. Van is ripping 4, 5, 6 punches in a row. Head, body, while circling, while moving, while staying defensively aware. Pantoja can absolutely have grappling moments, but holding Van down is a whole different story. Van is wiry, slippery, scrambles like a demon. I think Pantoja finds moments. I think Van finds more moments. And I think Van's combo punching, body work, cardio force Pantoja onto the back foot for stretches, which is rare. We don't see Pantoja on the back foot. I think the upset is coming here. Joshua Van and new flyweight champion by knockout or decision. I think both are live. But give me Joshua Van. I think he's going to get it done.
So did you like hack my brain before this? Why do I'm going Josh Van too, man. That's it. Oh, I want to pick Pantoja so bad. And I feel like I should, in all honesty. But Srikar's right. Like, this is the toughest opponent that Pantoja's going to have to face, in my opinion. It's him or Tatsuro Taira. Those are going to be the two toughest opponents, whether he wins this or he loses this. He's going to fight two of them. He's going to fight both of them eventually, in my opinion. I feel like that's undoubted. In this fight, Pantoja loves walking forward, and him walking forward forces his opponent to move backwards, which gives Pantoja a lot of room for, I wouldn't say error, but a lot more options of what he wants to do. Because on the back foot, it's a lot easier for the opponent, the person pushing you backwards, to shoot a takedown or, throw punches up against the cage, get a clinch, throw punches in the clinch, knees, level change. The fight that I'm going to reference is the Steve Erceg Alexandre Pantoja fight. Steve Erceg was actually pretty close to beating Alexandre Pantoja. He gave him the best fight out of anyone on his championship run, in my opinion. And what Steve Erceg did really well in that fight was not concede ground. And that is exactly what Josh Van does. He does not concede ground. If he takes one step backwards, he's going to try his best to take 2 steps forward and gain everything back and some. The biggest thing is just going to be the takedown defense. Pantoja gets you on the floor or takes your back. It might be scary hours for Josh Van. But Josh Van is really good at getting back up. You can't really knock this guy down without expecting him to get back up and throw 7 more punches at you. Like Srikar said, the combo punching. He does not settle for 1 or 2 strikes. He's going to throw a 1, a 2, a 4, a 6, a 5. He's going to make sure that the combo is thrown. All of them might not land, but he's going to land at least 2 or 3 of them, and they're going to hurt. They're going to have Pantoja thinking, okay, what am I going to do? The biggest thing that Van needs to do is just make Pantoja question himself or question his game plan by throwing unorthodox things at him that he's never seen. And even though Josh Van is a very technically sound boxer and very fundamental, the way he fights almost feels a little bit unorthodox because he doesn't like regroup sometimes when he gets hit. He just goes, all right, I got hit. Boom, boom, boom. Like he literally does it while he's staggering backwards from getting punched. He's throwing 3 punches on the way back. I really think that Van has a good chance in this. And I see this fight a little bit closer to, I'm not going to say even. I see this fight a little closer to like minus 170 range for Pantoja.
Yeah, I think it's a coin flip. I think it should be dead.
It could be close. I don't know. I'll give it to Pantoja, but even like minus 150. Let's say minus 150. I don't know. Whenever I think a fight is a lot closer than it should be, I like opting for the value. And I'm not picking Josh Van just for value in this fight. I'm picking him because I think he has an actual chance to win. And we've been saying it for months. As soon as this fight got announced, I was teasing it in our streams and everything. Yo, Josh Van, man, he's
both
the
of us
real
were.
deal. Yeah, both of us
straight
were.
after UFC 317, which you can go watch that recap.
Yeah, he's
you were
the
talking
real
about
deal.
Van had a real shot to win this fight.
He does, and I mean, he's so good, man, and he's so young. And sometimes the youthful exuberance is what puts a fighter over the edge, especially in a fight like this. Pantoja, yeah, he might look like a bat out of hell, and he might look like a cyborg the way he just kind of charges forward. But sometimes when he does that, I don't think he's very technical. I just think he tries to outdog his opponent. And with Josh Van, it's pretty hard to outdog this guy. Like, this guy is straight dog. I wish I had the picture, pull up the x-ray of the guy's lungs with the dog in it. That is Josh Van. He does not get scared. And obviously, I mean, I'm not in his head, but just from looking at him fighting, dude stood toe-to-toe with Royval and ate 200 significant strikes and gave every single one back and then some. I think this is going to be a great fight. I think this is going to be fight of the night, in my opinion. And I think we're going to hear and new at the end of this fight.
Yeah, I could totally see all three of those things happening. I think this is definitely a close one. I'm not saying I'm confident in Van, but I do think it is kind of like a coin flip in a sense. But
the odds should be a little closer. But
the odds should definitely be closer.
Pantoja gets the championship prowess in a -200, which he has deserved. He's shown that in some of these closer title fights, he kind of ran through a lot of people. So I think he's earned that odds outcome. But yeah, let's see. How much you want to bet that Sam is going to take Pantoja?
I'd bet a lot of money he's going to take Pantoja. He is. He is. And I won't spoil his pick for him on the video, but he is going to take Pantoja. And I also know who he's going to pick in this fight too in our main event.
Oh yeah.
First of all, incredible turnaround time for Merab.
Dude, even if unreal.
Yeah, I mean, we knew this was coming after UFC 320. We did not think it was going to be this quick. But 4 title defenses in a calendar year is on the line here. Main event. Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan 2. Before we get into the pick, make sure you like it up, like the video, subscribe. If you're new, turn those post notifications on, share the video. Help us out with the algorithm. And also comment below who you got in this main event. I don't know what happened with the coding here, but we saw the problem with Barboza, but
who done it?
We'll put it up here for now. Sorry, you guys can't look at the other eye candy that the UFC with the machine. Merab Dvalishvili. I love Petr Yan, but I think Merab looks even better this time. Merab doesn't just wrestle you; he suffocates you. He chases you like you stole something. He forces you into a cardio death march, and you either drown or get dragged across all 25 minutes. Petr Yan is an amazing striker. One of the guys who definitely got me into the sport. One of the cleanest kickboxers at bantamweight. But his style is built on rhythm, space, making reads. Merab gives you none of that. He's in your face from the opening bell, throwing combos into takedowns, chaining attempts, crashing into you like a wrecking ball. And I think the biggest difference in this rematch, Merab is actively chasing a finish. He said it in interviews. He's hunting it in training. He's looking for the neck. Yan is very hard to knock out, but he can be submitted if you drag him into hell long enough. If Yan tries to scramble up, he leaves his neck exposed. I can absolutely see Merab snatching a darce, a guillotine, or jumping on the back for a rear naked choke. Merab has improved way more since their first fight than Yan has. Odds reflect the domination last time. Merab -410, Yan +320. I'm going to say Merab Dvalishvili by submission.
Ooh.
Yes, you heard me right. I think he finishes Petr Yan. I think we're gonna see a finish this time, and it really hurts me to say, but I will say though, you guys have heard me say this before. I do think if anyone is going to beat Merab, it'll be someone who's fought and experienced that insane cardio-driven style before. And out of all Merab's fights, Jan is the one who I'd say has the best combo of elite game planning skills and the tools to end a fight. I'm still not picking him. I'm going to pick Merab. I'm going to pick him by finish, and I'm hoping me picking Merab by finish somehow jinxes Jan into a win. But the pick is going to be Merab.
The good old reverse psychology jinx. We love it.
Unfortunately, yeah. I end up hitting on my picks, so that's never really an issue. But
unfortunately, Shrikar just knows immense amounts of ball. So sorry, Petr Yan, you're screwed, buddy.
Yeah.
No, I think he's actually going to do a lot better than the first fight, if I'm being completely honest. A lot might be a stretch. I'm going to say better. How about that? We'll say better. Do I think that Merab is going to shoot 49 takedowns again? No, but he's definitely going to shoot 30. I think he's going to at least shoot 30. I can't wait to see this takedown prop on the sports books, because whatever it is, I'm doing. I don't know if you've ever seen on like BR betting, like the ladder challenge that everyone does, like this guy to have like 2 catches, 3 catches, 4 catches, 5 catches, and you just straight all of them. I'm gonna literally straight every single Merab takedown and just do a little ladder. See how high it goes. Maybe Merab will take me to the moon. But yeah, I mean, look, Merab has literally given us no reason to not take him, and it seems like he's getting better and better in every single fight, which almost doesn't even seem possible because of, you know, his age and just everything he's, I guess, been through. You like to think Merab's a one-trick pony. He's just a cardio demon with good wrestling. Nah, he showed he had hands last fight. He must have got a call from Bilal and learned how to use Canelo hands. But he gave Sandhagen a lot of trouble. He really did. And in an area where Sandhagen is supposed to be the expert and the master, Merab almost made him look a little bit like the student. So in this, I mean, Petr Yan, you just go watch Petr Yan tape. This guy is very technical, great wrestling, great judo, great leg trips, very calculated boxer, good kicks. He's gonna keep, you know, coming at you whenever he can. And Merab, he's just gonna have to fight like Merab, man. You just gotta put the pedal to the metal. You gotta make Yan feel a little bit uncomfortable. You gotta wear on him in clinch opportunities. You know, try and get to the back. Just be like a heavy blanket on him. Make him carry your weight when you can, and just be you, Merab, because, you know, Merab's fight style, you might think it's ugly. You might think it doesn't work. Oh, if a good fighter comes around who also has good wrestling and whatever, they're going to win. No, look at the Umar fight. Umar was supposed to win. He won the first 2 rounds and cardio drop off. Boom, Merab is still champ. I think it's going to be the same thing here. I think Yan it's either you have the cardio or you don't. Because if we're being completely honest, I think Yan is a little bit more skilled than Merab. I think it's just the cardio. Like, it's like if you're playing 2K or UFC and your cardio is down, like, your attributes are going to drop with your cardio because you can't throw a punch as fast as you would with a full tank of gas when you have a quarter of a tank of gas. It's kind of just, it's logic. And Merab cracked the code in that. We've said it time and time again. Shrikar, literally, he says it all the time, and he's so right about it. It's the biggest superpower that you can have, or it's a game breaker. It really is, because how do you train for that? Like, you have to train for years and years to get that type of cardio. And Merab, you know, it could be a little bit of genetics, but he puts in so much work to the point where you understand why he has that advantage, and he makes it evident every time he gets in the octagon. So going with Merab. I might not be as overzealous to say submission. I can see it. I'm just gonna be plain Jane over here and stick with the decision at -250. Maybe even be a little bit stingy and take a unanimous decision at -180 just to shave off some of that sharpness on the odds. But yeah, it's Merab, man. He's a goat, bro. He's honestly already a top 10 fighter of all time. Honestly, probably even higher. I just can't think right now. But yeah,
Nah, not yet. I would say if Merab beats Jan again, I think that firmly solidifies him as bantamweight GOAT. And then if he defends one more time, I'll say he's top 10 all time.
all right. We can go with that. I think he's gonna do it though. So
Yeah.
it's just like, dude, there's just he's almost getting to the point of where it's how do you beat this guy? You might just have to kill him, and then he'd probably eat the bullet and be like, "Oh, why you do that?"
Yeah.
Like, oh, you so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, both of us going Merab in the main event. Both of us going Van as the underdog in the co-main event. If you want to see Sam's predictions, though, again, make sure go to the Instagram. We'll put up our final picks that day after seeing weigh-ins, after seeing fight week, media day, all that stuff. But that's the full UFC 323 breakdown, fight by fight, top to bottom. If this really is the last pay-per-view ever under the old UFC structure before Paramount takes over, then what a card, first of all. But this also might be the last pay-per-view preview we ever do. I think it's crazy to think about. So if you enjoyed the breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, turn on post notifications, drop in the comments who you got in the main and co-main event.
Please, I want to know.
If you disagree with us, helps us out with the algorithm too. So tell us your predictions. Much love. Happy holidays to all of you guys. Thank you for hopping inside the war room with me and Chris. And we will see you all in the next one. Peace.